For more great podcasts.
Welcome to Dig on America, where we speak truth to power. Every week, we give you the dig on how American history, policies, and media created the social and political issues we face today. DOA is independent media supported by listeners, but they'll tell you we're just fake news, deep state propaganda, funded by George Soros, the Clinton Foundation, BLM Marxists, and
Sergeant Slaughter.
Ming the Merciless.
Bam Bam Bigelow.
There's a lot of that is three amazing sponsors this week. Bam Bam doing a fantastic job post-mortem, by the way. Thank you, Bam Bam.
That's the Bam Bam Bigelow Trust.
The trust fund that was set up in his name.
I think Vader died too.
All those guys die early, man. There was another one a couple weeks ago that I was looking at an article about. But anyway, welcome everybody into Dig on America. I am Jason Dutch, and as you can see, I am not in my studio today. I am at the house with the family. So I am
like
totally
one of them couches
fucking
from one of them studios.
Got an audition?
I got it used from some Polish guy who said that he used to audition people.
It's like the C triple.
No, look, I'm gonna tell you right now. You ain't doing no good loving on this sticky son of a bitch, man. This thing.
See what you got. You got a 3M that joint. Got to waterproof it.
Put a blanket down.
No, well, it's
towel.
It's like leatherette. It's not real leather, so it's like this has no breathability whatsoever. You sleep on this thing, you wake up like you're in a sauna. But
there you go. That's good for the ring lights.
Everybody, please go onto Patreon right now so we can get this man a proper couch. He over here.
This is the perfect. This is the perfect old couch. No, I like this.
In some leather, please, or maybe a nice microfiber.
No, this is the perfect couch. This was like a $95 couch. This is the perfect couch for the kids' playroom, which is where I'm at today. So you want to send us something expensive? Let me tell you, it's going in the living room. And this one's going to stay right here. I am here today with the man. He's a really disturbing individual. I hear that he eats his baby back ribs with a fork. He's Big Haas.
Man, why you guys talk about my eating habits, man?
Why? Hey, the world needed to know. The world needed to know that. The world needed to know that.
You need to make sure that your shit don't get
Got him. He's outed. It's over. You guys gonna help?
Sometimes I do, actually.
I do that sometimes.
Sometimes I do. I just fucked up my shit.
You sophisticated son of a gun.
Sometimes I do.
If I don't have,
I don't want to look like a goddamn heathen out in a restaurant or something, you know?
Yeah, I'm not trying to, you're trying to impress the date. You could really show off when you
be out there like Dave Chappelle. Look at him.
And he's dabbing his
like Tom and Jerry and shit with a turkey leg or something.
Just like they said the encyclopedia.
Yeah.
Turn that mic up, Haas, so I can hear you. And I'm also here with the producer extraordinaire. I don't know why he retired from Antifa to join this crazy place. I don't know why he would do that, but here he is.
I left Antifa and I joined Akatsuki. All you anime nerds out there will know that and love it.
I don't know that,
so
I don't love it.
On your feet.
All right, so we were supposed to have a guest on today. He had we wish Mark the best. He'll be on next week. His daughter is.
Hey! Don't be putting his information out there like that.
Wait! What? What are you talking about?
Don't say nothing.
So we can't wish people. We can't wish people that they feel better.
We don't have to say what's going on.
You guys are out of your fucking minds. Anyway, I will bend to your wish, but that's the silliest shit I've ever heard. If I want to wish someone well, I'll wish them well.
Like you ain't bended before.
And you would bend the knee. Speaking of bending the knee, we started watching Game of Thrones from episode 1 again.
It's good shit.
And I'm telling you, like the Easter eggs, they're fucking great, man. Like you see these Easter eggs the second time around where you didn't always notice them the first time around.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been very enjoyable so far. I think we're on the second or third episode of season 2. Of course, Melissa got ahead of me. again. So we about to
You already
fight.
watched it.
I've already
Skip
watched it,
ahead.
but I thought we were gonna watch it together as like this bonding thing. And apparently she went out of town yesterday, which is why I'm here. And she's like, "Oh, I've watched like 6 episodes." Oh, is that so? So while I was watching the kids, she just got home, so she has them now. While I was watching the kids, you were catching up. You were moving ahead of me on Game of Thrones. Very, very nice. But
Let me say something right now, which is probably going to end everybody's relationship.
oh, do it.
It's not fair to make me wait for you to watch a show. It's not fair. You got the same access to resources. I know you want to watch it with me. We could still talk about it. I don't think it's right. You know how many shows I am behind on because I have to wait? How many movies I have to wait weeks and weeks to watch because I got to wait so we can both watch it? Look, man, just watch the movie. I watched the movie. By
Right. Well,
myself, I was okay.
you're a horrible individual,
Well, here's
but
the
then
thing,
again,
Dutch. Here's the
but
thing.
realistic.
He's not married yet. See,
Yeah.
we'll talk to him about 3 years after the marriage, and then he'll be like, "Dear, are we gonna
3 years.
watch?" You know,
3 years after the marriage and 2 years
Yeah, when
before the
he's-
divorce
when he's-
papers.
when he's properly trained as a husband. You know, right
Exactly.
now he's still
You know-
he's still like a wild Mustang.
No, ain't no
know?
Mustang left. I'm just saying, I am always tasked with the duty of finding the good new show,
Yeah,
which I do.
yeah.
And then she don't want to never watch it. And I'm like, yo, I didn't tell you so you could just do what you did with House. Like, no, we need to watch this like when it come out because I gotta.
House was good.
We're going through House right now, but we only get through like 2 episodes at a time. I'm like, what was that, like 4 or 5 seasons? No, that's some bitch about 8, 9 seasons. I was like, oh, we ain't gonna never get to the. I was waiting for number 13 to show up. We got. I'm a good 3-4 months before that happens.
That's what she wanted me to start watching with her was Supernatural. I'm like, that shit is on like season 7.
Like 15 seasons, something
They're
like
on season like 736.
Yeah, my daughter, has watched it like 4 or 5 times. She's watched the whole thing. I'm like,
who has
15 seasons? What are you doing?
Who's watched it?
My daughter, my oldest daughter.
That's how Melissa's watched this. She said she's seen it at least twice, and some episodes 5-6 times. But I'm like, I've seen probably, I would say at least 75 or so episodes of that show just by being around her.
Yeah.
But I've never watched it religiously. You know what I mean? Like, so, but it seems like a type of show that I would like to watch. But, all right. So moving into listeners, we're gonna have a little bit, I think, of a abbreviated show tonight, which means we'll probably get more listens later. We're going to talk a little bit about the social and cultural impacts of 9/11. So, forgive me today. I'm using my emergency podcasting kit, so I might be a little. You might hear me vaping in the background. I can't mute myself here.
Let me pause you for 1 second. Bill, I saw your email. If you're listening, the show is streaming live every Wednesday around 10 p.m. Central. I don't think we ever say that. So he was like, he's like, I keep trying to figure out when you guys are streaming live. And I was like, oh shit, I don't think we actually say what time it is. But yes, Wednesdays at 10 p.m. Central.
Good job catching that as the oversight of the day. We do need to do a little bit better job of that. See, look at that.
Gee,
you see that? I was checking it right there, and it started playing for us. So Bill Lemon, we love all of our listeners. Thank you for listening.
Lemond.
Yes, it is Lemond. You know, I don't know why he's gonna murder me for saying Lemon, but it isn't Lemond. Wouldn't that be a more phonetic spelling? I mean, maybe Bill should change it from Lemond, fill the pond, to just to make me happy. No, he shouldn't do that. But we love you, Bill. So Bill Lemond. Yes. Like Greg LeMond, right? But Greg LeMond, isn't that spelled differently?
No, it's Lemond.
I bet you.
Maybe with an E on there. I'm not
right,
sure.
but Bill's has 2 M's in it. I think that's what throws me off. That might be what throws me off.
You just got to respect the pronunciation as he deems it so.
It has nothing to do with respect. It has to do with remembering. That's 2 different things. I don't remember your name.
Not remember those we don't respect.
Jeez.
People,
we do have a new iTunes.
People
We do have a new
can-
iTunes review from Sam B.
Well, that's great.
119. Great listen. Awesome sound quality. Okay. Not tonight, probably. And and a lot of fun banter about a variety of topics. If you would like to hear your comment read on air, what can they do, Mr. Famine?
Just go to your favorite podcatcher and leave us a 100-star review. I think it only goes to 5, so just get 20 people's phones. And
Get
then we'll
20
read 'em.
people's phones and grab their phones and pretend, and then you can make it look like we're popular.
Damn it.
And let me
Even
show you this
though-
magic trick, and then just download our podcast.
Yes, exactly.
All episodes.
So we'll start talking about, as I said, the cultural and social impact of 9/11. The guys want to get into a couple of conspiracy theories as well. So we're just going to rocket ship right into this. Again, we're coming up on the 20th anniversary of 9/11. So there's been a lot of new specials and shows on one particularly on Netflix. I forget the name of it off the top of my head. What it focuses on the war on terror, which obviously, with everything going on in Afghanistan, with the pullout there and everything like that, we're still seeing the repercussions of
the pullout
9/11 today. Yes, of the pullout. Pause. only you could do that. Very, very well done.
Before you jump in,
I was going to pull out, but you made me jump in. Do I go in or do I pull out?
just put it on the outer lips.
Okay. All right, I'm pausing on the outer lips.
Children, just outer children.
I'm tired. It's late. This is what you get. This is what you're getting.
Get what you
Look
get.
at Wonder Woman down here. I work with children.
Where were you when it happened?
Oh, that's a good question. I was going to get to that. I was just trying to get to the dig first so that my battery doesn't
You're
die on
always
my
just
phone.
about to do everything I do. That's cool.
Yeah.
Just give me some shine. Damn.
I don't want my phone to die, you fuck. All right. So my story with 9/11 was I was working at North American Van Lines at the time. We did a lot of office moves. And on that particular morning, I remember it. I mean, it's one of those days that you just remember, right? I know my parents say it sticks out to them like JFK and Pearl Harbor and stuff like that. But obviously I wasn't alive for those. But I was downtown Chicago, working at 200 East Randolph for BP, which at the time was still Amoco. And I guess now is Amoco again. I guess they're changing it back. But at the time it was called BP Amoco, and we were doing a move down there. I want to say we were on the 42nd floor or something of that nature. But we started at about 6 a.m. on site that morning. So I reported down in 200 East Randolph about 6 a.m. on site in Chicago time. So we're an hour. The first plane hit the tower about just before 9 a.m. Eastern time, I believe it was. So it would have been just before 8 a.m. Chicago time. And but I had come down for a break around a few minutes after the first plane hit. And it was about, I was sitting down on my break for which, I was a union guy. So, we had our 15-minute break, but we always took like 30. And I was sitting down there in the break room, which is on the dock, literally below ground in what they used to call it the Standard Building. But again, it's at 200 East Randolph. And that was when I saw on TV live the second plane hitting. I was actually listening to Man Cow on my radio, on my headphones, and listening to the Man Cow show while I was watching the TV screen. So I was listening to Man Cow in my ears, but watching the TV screen. And Man Cow was talking about it a little bit, but he was like not really sure. I wasn't really sure if it was be taken seriously until I really saw what was going on the TV set. So when the second plane hit, it was fucking chaos. And within about 40 minutes, they called our crew and they said, we stopped working and we were sent home. There were rumors that we heard as it took, because the city, everybody was just vanishing from Chicago, right? And there were rumors that there were rumors that now the Standard Oil building in Chicago, it looks a lot like the World Trade Center. So people were convinced that one of the other planes, there was a plane on the way to hit it. I think that it had some Jewish company up top, like Price Waterhouse or something like that. I forget what it was. And that it was made by the same architect. Like there was a whole bunch, nobody knew what was going on at the time.
Yeah.
So all we knew is that we were just going to go home. And what I remember the most, and to put this in perspective, my oldest daughter was born on July 29th. So she was only like 5 weeks old. So my life had just literally changed, right, within 5 weeks. And I was, we knew it was a terrorist attack after the second plane, but still, I was an immature 26-year-old kid. Like, we're kind of, I remember some people making some jokes and, stuff like that. But for the most part, we knew that something serious was going on. And, I kind of would chuckle at when people would make the jokes and stuff like that. But the getting out of Chicago that day was just, the fear in people's eyes. People were running, cutting people off in traffic. I don't remember how long it took us to get back to Carroll Stream, but it took fucking forever.
I used to live there.
We got there by, like I said, we left. It was probably like 9:30 a.m. I'm guessing, maybe 10. It was 20 years ago, but it was probably 45-minute. What would you say, House? 45-minute drive from downtown to Carroll Stream most days. Hour maybe.
Depending upon maybe an hour, depending upon what time of day you're talking about.
It had to be 1:30, 2 o'clock before we got home. So, it was, once we got onto the expressway, it was better. On 88, it was better, but just like getting out of the downtown area, and there were a lot of people who didn't leave as quickly as we could. So they were like, you could see seas of people walking. And the L trains, I didn't see them, but I heard later that they were just overflowing with people, trying to get the fuck out. Yeah. Because people were convinced that there was a plane coming to Chicago.
What about you, Big House?
Well, I was working as a project manager in direct marketing at a company that will be not named. And I was running late and I needed to drop Peyton off, who was 2. Yeah. Almost 2. And I was in the back of the apartment that we lived in, getting dressed because I was business casual. I had to wear my khakis and my polo, all that bullshit. So, getting my shirt on, like, okay, little boo-boo, we about to go. And she's in the front, and as I'm walking down the hallway towards the living room, because I had the news on, we used to watch Fox Thing in the morning with Bob Surratt and what's her name? You know who I'm talking about.
Marianne Murciano.
She was one, but there was a black girl before her.
Robin Robinson?
No, I forget her name. Tamron Hall.
Oh,
Okay.
Tamron Hall was on Fox Thing in the morning? Okay,
Yes!
I didn't know that.
Yes!
Yeah, and this was, and for those who don't know, this was not Fox News. This was local Fox 32, right? In Chicago.
WFLD, Fox News, Fox Thing in the morning is what they called it.
Right.
And as I'm walking towards the living room to grab her and get up out of here and take her to the sitter so I can go to work, she's yelling. Oh, she's not yelling, but she's just kind of looking at the TV. She's sitting on the floor, pointing at the TV Moke, 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 Daddy, Moke, Moke. She's trying to say
we
smoke,
interrupt Sesame Street to bring you this.
you know. And I look, and one of the towers is smoking, you know, Moke, Moke. And I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, what happened? Somebody that snapped out. I thought somebody got fired and they snapped out and set fire to one of the office floors or something.
Right.
You know? And then I see the other plane come and smash into the other tower. And I'm like, oh my God. And Tamara Hall is like, this is not a joke. This is not a prank. This is real. And I collapsed into the chair like, a lot of people are about to fucking die. And why would anybody do
it's
this?
it's worth noting that there was a couple radio shows that day, Mancow was one of them, who were doing 911 gags. It was 9/11, right? So 911 gags. So I think some people thought it was.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
They're like, this is not a prank. This is not, this is real. A second plane has crashed into the World Trade Center. We're watching this live, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, whoa. I didn't end up getting to work until about 12 o'clock because I was in shock. And I called work. I'm like, what do we do? Do we go in? Is there, what's going to happen? We all stood still for a while. It was crazy. And this is the first time I've told that story without crying of where I was. This is the very first time I've ever told that story without crying. I tell it every year. I talk about
Mikey?
I was in 6th grade, so I was in math class. And because my brain works funny, I think they made an announcement over the intercom, something to the effect of, well, all teachers with tenures, they had some string of words, but check your email.
Mm-hmm.
And then my math teacher, who I've learned is now deceased, R.I.P. Mr. Secor, cool dude.
HIPAA.
Spell HIPAA.
HIPPO.
Yeah, you're good over there. Here, there's some coloring books behind you, Dutch.
There actually is.
They probably are, right.
But so he just kind of he was a very stern, serious guy, and his face kind of was just like, what the fuck? Check the email.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So it was like, okay, so it looks like he heard a clue, and then he said email, so he went and checked, and he's like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then they just didn't tell us. So we just went about school like it was fine. And then it was on the bus ride home when everybody had radios and shit like that. When it was like, what the fuck? And then I had, you get off the bus, you walk over to the house. And then my mom was staying at home at that point, and then it was already on TV. And I was like, are they coming for us? And so I'm like, I think I went to the park or did something. And I've always loved planes, and I've always been like a aerospace nerd. Like I love planes and jets. I love jets. And there were fighter jets scrambled.
Yeah.
They were circling, they were not going anywhere. And they kept coming all the way out to us. Or I was in Bolingbrook at the time, so that's probably 45 miles southwest of the city. I was hearing and seeing them patrol the area, and I guess they were the FAA was telling everybody, get the fuck away from downtown, or you're getting shot down now.
Yeah, because there was a rumor that there was a plane possibly coming to the Sears Tower.
Right. And that's what I asked my mom. I was like, so are they going to get the Sears Tower? Because it's a tall building too. She's like, I don't know.
I'm curious, Big House,
just
a curious question for you.
Sure.
Which one do you remember more? I believe it was Challenger with Kristen McCullough and
the space shuttle Discovery.
when they showed that no, it wasn't Discovery.
It was Challenger. Was it Challenger?
It was Challenger or Columbia, one of the two. I forgot. They both blew up, but
Columbia. I think it was Challenger.
Yeah, it's one of the two. They both blew up, but one of them was we all. Did you guys watch that on at school?
Well, I watched that in school. I watched it blow up.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa,
Yeah,
this
so did
is
we.
not supposed to happen.
Because there was a teacher on it, right? So everybody
Mhm.
watched it.
Everybody
Like all the
watched it,
schools in
yeah.
America
All
were
the
watching
schools
it.
were like watching because
That was
Krista McAuliffe goes.
Yep.
January 28th, 1986.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously 15 years before, but those are really the two that I remember, the two, events that I remember, singular events. I mean, obviously COVID, but it's not just a singular event. Do you have, I was just wondering if you had the similar type memory that I did with this space shuttle.
Yeah, that was the very first tragedy. I was older, so 9/11 hit me a little bit more because I had more of a sense of mortality. You know what I mean? More of a sense of what the heck was going on. And but the Challenger thing, because I was in 8th grade. And when that happened, it was just like, whoa, that's crazy. At first I'm like, oh, is this part of it? Because I hadn't watched a shuttle take off. So,
right.
And then when it started disintegrating, I'm like, no, this ain't part of it,
Right.
But I didn't have a sincere grab on the mortality of people because I was still a young dude. I barely thought about, that type of stuff. But then as an older person in 9/11, it was just more, it hit me way harder because, well, of course, it's more people. This is a purposeful act. So not an accident or a miscalculation like one of the shuttles or anything like that. And you just think of all those innocent lives taken away, and that stuck with me for a very long time. Very, very long time.
I think the moment that stuck out the most for me was I went to my parents' house later that night and they were showing footage, and actually it was probably that afternoon. And I'm guessing this was on a replay, but I remembered when the people were jumping, and there's a couple of famous photographs of people jumping, and just like thinking of the horror that those people had to go through to do that, like, because you like to think to yourself, like, what you would have tried to do, right? I think that thought goes through everyone's head, like, well, what would I have tried to do, like, hook my coat to the outside of the building and just hang there. I'm not going to jump, but maybe could I survive the fire? But I remember one lady who jumped, and I might have seen this picture a day or two after because everything gets amalgamated. But there was this one lady who jumped, and I just remember that she was probably a young lady, and she had a skirt on. And I remember, I think it was a freeze frame. I don't remember, but as she's jumping to her death,
she's holding
her skirt down.
Yeah.
Like, and that I never forgot about that because, like, she didn't want to die with her, panties
showing her,
showing and stuff like that's the ultimate act of like someone trying to preserve their dignity. Like, imagine what you have to think about to think that, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you're falling to your death and you're like, no, I'm going to hold my skirt down. Like, I'm not saying this as a joke. I'm saying this as a serious thing.
I know.
And it's but like that really was a real wake up call to me as far as like the seriousness of that event, because a lot of stuff is faceless and nameless. Like, the people died, and like you heard they died, and you could imagine that they died, but with this person, you were seeing it. And then the fireman who was on TV, I think it was the chaplain, who was praying over someone live on TV, and a body fell on him, while he was praying, giving last rites to someone else who had jumped, or to somebody, so it's like, it's just, there's so many moments. And I remember watching Monday Night Football the night before that, right? Because the Giants were on Monday Night Football. I think they played the Cowboys, and I was like, the NFL season had just started. It was like week 1, I want to say. And I'm like worried about my fantasy team 1 minute, and then there's no, then we didn't have sports for weeks. It was just nuts. And then somehow Rudy Giuliani emerged as a hero out of this, which is something I'll never understand.
It's because when there is a crisis, people yearn for a leader, someone who's the guy in front of the lectern who says everything will be all right, and everyone says, okay, Rudy's got us. Somebody's in control. Someone's looking out. Someone's going to make sure that this gets sorted out. And that's why we jumped behind Rudy, and he was America's mayor. That's why we got behind Bush. Even Democrats got behind Bush because we were going to go get those fuckers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We were going to get them back. And that's the downfall of tribalism, right? Is when, even if you think you're doing the right thing or it feels good to do it, it's still bad. Because Giuliani is clearly a fuckhead and he didn't really do anything. And fucking Jon Stewart still has to fucking hound him on every platform he can find once a year for the 9/11 First Responders Fund, which Giuliani fucking shit on for a million years. It wouldn't do anything for.
Well, then you had Trump too, who was.
But in our heads, he was perfect. Like at the time, Rudy was taking care of us.
Yeah,
he was the guy we could call on, but a lot of those guys who went into them dust piles and them rubble, they all have mesothelioma and what's it, COPD? Yeah, they're
COPD.
COPD. Yeah. And their lungs are all fucked up from breathing in that dust. And we won't take care of them. Well, New York won't take care of them.
Yeah, I think that they finally got something passed because Jon Stewart went and did a scathing testimonial in front of the Congress and really shamed them into it.
Yep. He did it like 3 or 4 times before they actually started listening.
And then there was that Trump thing. I don't know if it was the same day or a couple days later, where he was on I think he was on Stern.
That TV interview, or where he was on the phone.
Yeah, where he's like, it was the tallest. And he's talking about his own building. Like, the right wing goes crazy because this veteran who was killed, or not this veteran, this soldier who was killed in Afghanistan. And I think the dad has a right to be upset, but like, now he's on Fox News, which takes away some of his credibility. But he was upset with Biden because Biden came to talk to him, and he's like, oh, he was talking more about his own son than my son, which is probably distasteful. But at the same time, people do that. Like, if you've lost someone, people come up to you and say, I know how it feels. Let me tell you my story. And sometimes they do it trying to help, but just a note, don't do that. Right. Like, Melissa's lost someone, and she's always like, people at the time told her that, oh, I lost this person. And it always, she said it always made her angry. So, Biden did that, but they chastised Biden last week over that. Chastised him. And Trump went on TV and said, well, he's talking about his own building and how now it's probably the tallest building in New York now because the World Trade Center's gone.
Right.
He's like, well, it was the second tallest. Well, I guess now the tallest building in New York. And it's like, self-aggrandizing yourself. And, it's just a pathetic thing.
And then, like in another interview, he was also saying that he saw a bunch of Muslims on a roof in Jersey celebrating the thing go down. And it's like,
lying ass.
And then it's like, okay, do you have any proof of that? Okay, no one else has ever reported that ever. Who are you with? You're with these people. How come none of them have ever said that? And even if we ask them today, they say that they don't remember what that was. Like, you just made that shit up. Because that's what he does. He has to be the center of attention at all times, even in the midst of a terrorist attack. You still got to find a way to make it about him, no matter fucking what.
Yeah, there was a video that I was watching. Well, let's get into this part. I'll talk about that video in a second. I can't play it because I'm not on my computer, but regarding the cultural influence of the social influence of the September 11th attack, I'm just going to read a somewhat brief article here, about 6 paragraphs. The cultural influence of 9/11 has been profound and long-lasting. It has extended beyond geopolitics into society and culture in general. Immediate responses to 9/11 included greater focus on home life and time spent with family, higher church attendance, and increased expressions of patriotism. The radio industry responded by removing certain songs and playlists, and the Trade Center was taken out of a lot of films, such as the Spider-Man movie, where they went back and edited films to take out representations of the Trade Center in movies that were coming out at that time.
Quick pause. If you guys watched Die Hard with a Vengeance 2, is that
there's 2 Die Hard with the Vengeances?
Is it Die Hard with a Vengeance? Is that 2 or 3?
Die Hard 2 is Die Hard 2. Die Hard with a Vengeance is the most recent one.
No. Die Hard with a Vengeance, wasn't that the Samuel L. Jackson one?
Yeah, the one with Sam Jackson. I was rewatching that, I don't know, a few years ago, and you can see that they just get done with the elephant puzzle or some shit like that, and they got to hoof it 15 blocks to the next puzzle from Simon, and you can see the Twin Towers behind them. And I was just like, holy shit. And then it's just like, that is not there anymore. Like that's like and it's little things like it, like the towers being in movies and shit like that you kind of forgot what it was. But if you see them now, you're just like, right there.
Yep.
Right there. And it's crazy.
We'll talk about some conspiracy theories in a minute, but one of the impacts was 9/11 conspiracy theories have then became a social phenomenon, despite lack of support from scientists and historians. The culture of the United States succeeding the attacks is noted for heightened security at an increased demand, as well as paranoia and anxiety regarding future terrorist attacks that includes most of the nation. Psychologists have also confirmed that there has been an increased amount of anxiety in commercial air travel. Due to the significance of the attacks, media coverage was extensive and prolonged discourse about the attacks in general, resulting in iconography, like what we talked about before, and greater meaning associated with the event. Don Labello called it the defining event of our time.
Let me pause real quick. I don't know if the article says it, but I want to sneak it in case it does. That was the beginning of the 24-hour news cycle.
I would push back on that a little bit. I would say the beginning of the 24-hour news cycle started during the Gulf War, but you're also not wrong. I think that was.
I'm talking about like with the heavy.
Gave it an adrenaline shot.
With the heavy hitters that we have now, with CNN, Fox, MSNBC, it wasn't like they had 24-hour coverage of 9/11 and 9/11 adjacent things for probably 2 years. Every day they were talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
It was like anytime they thought they might have had one of the people that helped the people that were on the plane. Talk about
and they did have a lot. I mean, there was a lot of stuff. That was a long investigation, and like there's so much about the 9/11 attacks in pop culture that it's pretty wild. The historian Arthur G. Neal had a quote here I think was interesting. These attacks have an important cultural meaning for many people. They percolate as a central theme for or backdrop for countless works of art. Regarding the 9/11 and Pearl Harbor attacks, we create the world through our perceptions of it, which is true, and seek to maintain area in a world with a manner consistent with our beliefs about it. It is through such symbolic constructions that we are provided with usable frameworks for shaping our memories and organizing them into coherent systems of meaning. American comic books, actually, hearkening back to a couple shows ago with Matt Delhauer, have always carried patriotic tones. No, you don't say. Especially during the Cold War, most notably Captain America. 9/11, however, shifted the political climate with it. This is really interesting. I didn't know this. 9/11 shifted the political climate with it and recentered the public's attention from communism towards Muslims. Perhaps the most mainstream example of the influence of 9/11 had on comic books is Iron Man, who previously was an anti-communist crusader. His canon was rewritten after 9/11 in the widely popular 2008 film Iron Man. In the film, billionaire Tony Stark learns his weapons were sold without his knowledge to various terrorist groups after he was kidnapped and tortured in Afghanistan. Did you guys know that was redone and that wasn't part of the original Iron Man comic?
I suspected that there might be some.
So
I mean, they've retconned it now. Well, they've retconned it now to the 10 Rings with, the Shang-Chi movie, away from terrorism. But originally that was, part of the shift there. So, he was originally an anti-communist crusader. But then again, who wasn't? Everybody was an anti-communist crusader in comics.
Really.
Yeah. So I found that to be pretty interesting. And then there was also one other thing here that I was going to read. And where is it? Oh, there it is. This from Leon Huddy, PhD, and Stanley Feldman, PhD of Stony Brook University. They did a thesis paper on 9/11 and made two intriguing notes that I wanted to read. Americans responded to the 9/11 attacks with negative social reactions, such as increased prejudice, as well as positive social reactions, including charitable donations and civic engagement. Psychological theory has helped explain why people have such powerful reactions when their way of life is threatened by attacks such as these. Research on American political reactions to 9/11 suggests that Americans support a strong government in response to terrorism when they perceive a high risk of future terrorism and feel angry at terrorists. While Americans who were personally affected by the attacks were more likely to feel anxious about terrorism, they were less supportive of overseas military action. And by the way, this article is from 2016. So none of what you are seeing today impacted that particular writing. So I remember one of the things, just anecdotally, was a friend of mine who was sort of a real pain in the ass. A friend of mine, I think his name was Jawan or something like that. I can't hardly remember what his name was, but we were in a White Hen Pantry, which used to be around in Chicago. It's kind of like 7-Eleven. And I remember he threw a full 2 liter of Coke at the Sikh guy running the store.
Now, what?
Who
Now,
had
why?
nothing to do with it.
Which has absolutely nothing to do with it. And I'm like,
why? Now, why does that? Why do Sikh people have nothing to do with the people from 9/11, Dutch? For the people who don't know,
because they're not Muslim.
Bing, bing. They're in a different country and they have a different religion.
Yeah, well, some Sikhs could share countries with Muslims for sure, but the Sikh religion was born out of an amalgamation of some characteristics of Islam, but it's mostly Hindu and
Northern India.
And yes, it's from the Punjab people of northern India, exactly. So they have nothing to do with Muslims in any way, shape, or form. But because Americans are so stupid, we figure turban, Muslim,
beard.
Yep.
Yeah.
Speak some language we don't understand, and it doesn't sound like Spanish or anything of the Eastern Europeans, so it must be them damn Arabs.
Well,
And that's one thing that's always bothered me is like people. I'm like, no, that guy's Indian. He's not Pakistani. He's not from Pakistan. He's from India. Oh, same thing. I'm like, do you think Japan and China are the same thing? He's like, yeah. I'm like, are you in Mexico the same thing? Well, no. I was like, yeah. Then don't be stupid and say just because something's next to something, they're the same thing.
Yeah. Totally correct.
Talk like a big boy.
It's very funny because Assyrians, as you remember our conversations with Shamasha, Assyrians and Israelis are very quick, even though they share a lot of the genetics with folks of that region, very quick to disassociate themselves with Arabs.
Oh yeah, and you better not call a Mexican a Puerto Rican neither.
Oh,
no, that's true.
Or a Honduran Mexican.
And definitely do not call a lemon a lemon. Definitely do not do that. But what did you guys see? Like, what was your post 9? What was your post 9/11 thought? Like, did you have any? I mentioned before on the show that I tried to join the Air Force after 9/11. And then later I tried to. I started taking firefighter training to be a volunteer fireman, partially because of that, though it was a number of years after. Did you have any thought of, joining the military or anything like that at that time?
Man, hell no. I mean,
no.
I was definitely, wanted to be more. And I've always been trying to be more compassionate to my fellow man and things like that. I found myself more defensive of Muslims that were being attacked and things like that, because where I worked, we had a fair amount of Muslim employees and things like that, and the owner of the company at the time was a Muslim guy, and they were telling stories about their families being accosted on the streets and things like that.
Yeah.
So I found myself being more reaching out to people like that, and try to be compassionate and empathetic to their plight, because they were going through so much. And I just recalled also because my name, and I would be on the phone call with a new client or a new contact and things like that. Hey, I'm and then boom, oh, you one of them Muslims? I'm like, my name is Muslim, but I myself am not. Oh, good. I don't know if I could,
Right.
So, I found myself in a different type of area of wanting to be patriotic and look out for my fellow man, but also having that access to the plight of people who had nothing to do with this, who interpret the religion differently and condemned these acts, but we're even getting allowed the chance to say that they condemned it. You know what I mean?
And a couple of comments from the chat. Tons of Mice, thank you, Tons of Mice. Says, I wanted to enlist, but I was too old. That is the case for some people. And Kay, what up, Kay? Kay says, my brother got illegally deployed, even though his reserve duty obligation, whatever you call it. IRR or RSR or something like that. I know what you're talking about. Had to run out. And that's for like 2 years after you was not your contract. What do they call it?
Your deployment?
No,
your
before
enlistment.
That. So there's a name for it. Help me out, chat. Help me out. But after
I'm not sure what you're asking.
It's whatever.
Your
It's
commitment.
not
Your commitment.
it's your 4-year or 6-year commitment, but then you also have 2 years of reserve duty after that.
Mm-hmm.
So it sounds like even after the 2-year reserve thing was gone, they were still, and that was one thing like post 9/11 that was big for me because it wasn't like immediately after, but within 2 or 3 years, now that I was in high school, all the dudes that were in ROTC with me, because I was in ROTC all 4 years, everybody enlisted. Everybody enlisted and everybody got deployed. Everybody was out of here. Everybody went. And I didn't enlist because I couldn't fly jets, which is what I wanted to do. So I said,
Exactly. I'm not going if I can't fly a jet.
I want to fly jets because I love planes. And you're telling me because I have glasses, that's a no.
Yeah, they told me that too, man. I was
well,
like,
then
okay.
no, thank you to this because
Yep.
that's what I want to do.
I'm not flying no damn cargo planes neither. I want to fly some jets.
I want to fly jets.
I want to be Tom Cruise.
No, I want to be Luke Skywalker.
I want to kind of be Tom. I want to be the black guy.
Colonel Stephen Hiller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you guys think is the Well, actually, I was watching a video earlier, and I would have pulled it up if I had my equipment, but I don't have it. And I remember it was just an interview. It was probably from 10 years ago, but it was an interview with a Muslim gentleman who was an elderly guy, and he was talking about how he had become an American citizen. I think he was from Lebanon, and in like 1970, in the 70s, and how when he saw the plane hit the World Trade Center, he was beside himself praying. Like he said, he dropped to his knees and he was praying not only for the safety of the people to be able to get out of the building, but he was also praying that the people who did it were not Muslim.
Oh yeah. Black people do that all the time.
Yeah, because he knew. Yep. Oh, that's what I was going to ask you to elaborate on that. But he knew that if this happened, that he's like, I know what's going to happen already. They're going to expect me to apologize for them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then that I have to fly a big enough flag to show that I'm a patriot, and that I have to like verbally condemn these attacks, which of course I do. I'm paraphrasing phrasing his words, but like he's like, please don't let them be Muslim, because we have a good thing going here, and I don't want this to happen. And like it was heartbreaking to watch this old man, think that, because like the common perception is that they're just dancing in the streets and celebrating it. And there's certainly there are people who don't like America, and that's true. But a lot of that has to do with the fact that we keep trying to rebuild countries in our own image. But the
rebuild while taking away the natural resources that are American interests.
Yeah.
So we're rebuilding, but you remember the TV show V?
Yes. Which one? The one with
the original,
not the remake. Okay.
No, the original. So they're coming there. We're going to offer you this technology, and we're going to do this, we're going to do that. But on the back end, we're taking all your fucking water out of the ocean. That's what it came to be. They found that out. So
the Viltrumites too.
Yeah. So sometimes America is like that. We're rebuilding. We're going to establish a democratic nation here, and also you got a lot of lithium. We're gonna take some.
We'll be taking that.
We'll be taking that.
Yeah, we're gonna take all that lithium because we got cell phone batteries. Don't worry, we'll sell it back to you.
You're on mute, dude.
I'm not on mute.
I double muted myself. I muted myself on both of them. I was like, I clicked the damn thing. But that was another thing that fucking Chester Cheeto was always talking about. I was like, we need to take their oil. All the shit we did, we need to take their oil. They got oil. We need to take that. That should be ours.
Yeah, that should be ours.
I'm like, what the fuck?
What is wrong with you, dude?
What's wrong with you? Who let you out?
To your point, in households all across in black communities when something goes on TV and it's like so and so or a shooting happened, and you're just like, please, 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 please don't let this be a black guy, or don't let these people be black, or somebody says something fucking stupid. You know what I mean? You're just like, oh God, please.
Do you say that every time Candace Owens comes on TV? Please don't let her be black.
You just say what this bitch done said now. That's what you say. Like her, Larry Elder, the fucking Hodge twins and shit like that. Whenever they open their mouth, you know that white folks that want to deny certain privileges or that racism exists and things like that are going to just glom on to what they're saying like it's the freaking gospel. Yeah. Never mind the masses of people saying the opposite, the mountains of studies and things like that, bearing out the opposite. They're going, but Larry Elder said, but like that dude on that dude for that website that we were talking about on Messenger. That's the kind of person that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Those are the kind of people, and you just that for blacks, it just feels like the actions of one or a few are ascribed to the whole aggregate, and we are responsible. And I, so we do that a lot where we're trying to just pray that the offensive party is not a melanated person.
I think the word we were looking for was enlistment.
Yeah, I said that.
Yeah, I said that.
I think that's. I don't know why I think it's another word, but
they have to be if they're not discharged honorably or dishonorably, or then they can still be recalled.
Because I think it's active reserve,
active duty.
No, active reserve is like the second one, because you have your enlistment and then there's the 2 years afterwards where if some shit does pop off, you're still fucking trained.
Like call up duty or some shit like that.
Yeah, it's like you're
what they call it.
Yeah, and I cannot. And trying to search this, I'm gonna get 1,000 people.
Isabel, if you're watching, let us know what we're talking about here.
Please and thank you. I need some words.
I didn't realize that was actually a thing, but like I said, they turned me down. So,
yeah.
Did you guys want to talk about a couple of these conspiracy theories?
Man, let's.
We can save it for next week.
Yeah. I mean, I am really exhausted today. So
okay, well let's just say there's some crazy ones, but this is like I said, we do have a shorter show today. I think we have a humidor still to talk about. Although let's take 2 minutes here, real quick.
Oh yeah, it's a very special humidor from Feminier.
Yeah, there we go. Get that off the screen. We got to get through the roller for now, but
you're a roller.
I'll give you a roller. Big Haas.
Yes.
NFL season kicks off tomorrow.
Yes.
Who are you liking?
This is always so subjective, and it's always so dependent upon.
I'll ask you in 8 weeks, and it'll be a different answer.
Yes, 100%. Like right now, I feel like if they can stay healthy, the Chiefs are going to win.
Okay, I don't see a clear favorite right now, but unfortunately, it does look like it's probably.
It's like it's going to be a rematch. I feel
exactly. It's probably. I'm thinking like it's probably going to be because the Buccaneers brought everyone back,
and then added some good people
and added some pieces. Yeah. So and the and a few other teams have gotten worse. Like Aaron Rodgers, another year older.
Yeah.
Unless
Tom Brady literally does fall off a cliff.
It's I keep rooting for that, but at this point, I've given up hope. He'll be playing till he's 75.
And something, I can't hate on his game on the field.
Hold on,
Mikey
he's the anti-LeBron.
Mikey found what he's looking for. Look how proud he is of himself.
Look at him. You should ask him how proud he is. He finished his workout today.
I didn't know.
Oh, you went to the Terror Dome?
I didn't know we were talking about that today. How many years is an enlistment? Most first-term enlistments require a commitment to 4 years of active duty and 2 years of inactive. Individual Ready Reserve, or IRR. That's what I
Ready Reserve.
That's what I couldn't fucking
Okay.
remember. But the services also offer programs with 2, 3, 6 year active duty and reserve enlistments, which it depends upon the service and job you want. So yes, so it's 4. Typically, it's 4 for your first time and 4, and then 2 of IRR. So you might have to show up to drill like once a month.
Yeah, have a 1 weekend a month like the reserves.
Yeah.
Okay. So next weekend we have a special treat for you. We're gonna have Mark Phillips on. He's supposed to be on today. We'll get to the humor in a second, but Haas and I, let's save this for next week too, because like I said, we have a short show today. But next week, tell them about the civil rights organization that we're going to talk about next week.
Something. The guy's name, I forget his name, and it's part
of
the
Woodson
website, the WoodsonCenter.org or something like that.
Yeah.
And this guy, he's got a lot of traction in conservative communities because the basic thrust of his center is that, it's neighborhood empowerment, aka it's the community's problem why they're in the situation they're in, and it's the community's responsibility to get them out. There is no systemic issues that they have to overcome. It is just pretty much their own deal to get out.
Yeah, that's a good enough elevator pitch right there. We'll talk for about 10 minutes about them next week. I discovered them by accident the other day, and I was like, who the fuck are these people? What's the 1776 Unite Project? And I found out. Yeah. Anyway, Mikey, what you got?
This.
Welcome to the Humidor with Big Haas. Find out what Haas is puffing and drinking tonight. If you try his suggestion and you die, that is natural selection. And the DOA podcast is not responsible for you being weak fucking sauce.
Baby.
So now, the one, the only, Big Haas.
Ooh. What's going on, people? How y'all doing today?
Good.
Now, y'all know I am a medium to full body cigar smoker. For the most part, predominantly. Well, today I've got a nice mild smoke, which is great for our beginner or inexperienced cigar smokers that are looking to get into the cigar culture. It's a great cigar. This is the Casa de Garcia, Connecticut Churchill. All right. It is 6.5 by 50. So 6.5 inch long.
I can't wait to say it.
50 ring gauge. Okay.
And it's from?
It is from Mikey.
No! 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 No!
Let me clear out the right side. Clear out the left side.
Yeah, you're out of practice, brother.
Sibilance.
I was just assuming victory.
República Dominicana.
That's correct. So the rapper,
you know what would have been great is if you had said no, Dutch.
The rapper is a U.S. Connecticut leaf. The binder is also a Connecticut leaf, but the filler is Mikey.
República Dominicana.
And
I thought I was going to get it.
Honduran, and the origin is Mikey.
República Dominicana.
A trifecta. Correct. Nothing from Nicaragua?
Nothing from Nicaragua. This
must be a bad cigar.
It's got a silky feel to the wrapper.
Silky.
Pause.
Sweet.
It's a little bit kind of bumpy and veiny. I did the V cut, but if you look at it, you can kind of see the see that vein right there for the leaf. Right there. You see that running down that way. And the ash is a little flaky. I don't necessarily like the ash. I like the ash to be a little bit more solid than this. They're sold in bundles of 20. And I had it paired with 19 Crimes, The Banished.
That's good stuff.
Brought out some sweetness. It's a dark red wine. It brought out some sweetness. A little bit of like fruity type of notes and essence to it.
Fruity.
Yes.
Let me pause you real quick. Did you download the 19 Crimes app on your phone?
Not yet.
You got to do the app on your phone because if you hold your phone up, it does like the augmented reality, John.
Oh, the Sirius Black.
Yeah, and the people will start talking to you and telling you.
The Snoop Dogg one does that, right?
Yep, all of them do.
They all do, I think.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah. So this is a pretty good cigar. After I didn't want to drink 2 bottles of. I didn't want to drink 2 glasses of wine, so I switched over to. I think this is Aldi strawberry flavored water.
Aldi's making a real comeback these days, man.
Yeah, and it brings out some more sweetness. But I like the fact that like you could definitely taste that little bit of a fruity sweetness with a little bit of nutty.
You're gonna love my nuts.
Back on it, a little bit of nutty back.
A little nut on your back.
No, it's like. It's like on your tongue.
Nuts on your tongue. Okay,
yeah,
that's worse.
Not better.
And well, on your back, I guess would suggest that there was some intrusions into your orifices. So,
hey, we do not kink shame on this show.
No,
correct. Hey, if you in for pegging and stuff like that, that's all. That's all.
Horniness is good.
Let your freak flag fly.
But as you can see, I haven't had to relight it. The burn line isn't that bad. There's a little angle to it. We've been on for over an hour, and I'm only maybe a little less than half into it.
So here's my question for you.
3.5 inches left.
All right. So since we're logging off here in 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah.
What are you going to do with the rest of that cigar if you're going right to bed? Are you going to?
All right.
Is that going to be able to be
I'm
relit?
about to go to sleep too. I'm about to go to sleep. So the process of saving a cigar is 2 ways to do it.
Dunk it in water.
Hell no. The first thing you can do is let it burn out, and then you purge it. Remember we talked about purging a cigar, right?
That's when you blow through the cigar.
You blow through the cigar to purge it and get the smoke and other stuff that may be still in the cigar out. And then you take a lighter or a match and, like, say I wanted to save this cigar. I would let it burn off. I would tap off the ash, get as much ash off as possible. Okay?
I thought you were going to do it for us.
Okay, so I go like this. Tap it off. But as you can see, there's some cherry still there. You see the red?
Yeah.
Right? So you have to let it burn out, and you tap that ash off. You purge it. You can put it. I personally don't put it back in the humidor because
it'll stink up the rest of the cigar.
It's still gonna leach into the other cigars. I'll leave it in the ashtray here. The basement is humid enough where it's not gonna dry out if I leave it down here for a few hours. You know what I mean? And you take a lighter or a match, and all you have to do, a lot of people make this mistake when they relight a cigar. They'll relight from the inside out. Okay? They'll get in here and light, and a lot of times people put the lighter too close anyway. But what you want to do is actually hit the edge. So you just hit the edge of the cigar, and you see how far away I am?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And then after you do that, you give it another little purge, right? To clear it out again. And you smoke it.
No, you're supposed to tell us how you're supposed to save it.
He didn't get the concept. Okay.
No, I did. That's what I said. I said to save the motherfucker.
Just let it burn out.
Let it burn out. You purge it. and then I'm gonna sit it in the fucking ashtray. And
So
then
you don't
tomorrow,
knock any of the ash off.
No, yes, you do.
Or
I
the
knocked
cherry,
the
I
ash
mean.
off. I knocked
So-
the
The
ash
cherry.
off.
So here's the confusion that we found, because I think
Yes.
me and Dutch, for the first time ever in the show's history, are on the same page here.
Yes.
We're like, how do you save the cigar? You're like, you let it burn out, then you relight it, and then you let it burn out, and then you relight it. It's like, no, you're just still smoking. Like, where is the part where you put it somewhere else?
I was giving you an example. I said normally the cherry wouldn't be there. You knock the ash off. I said, but this is still red. I said you let it burn out, then you knock the ash off. But I was giving you an example with a cigar that's still lit.
Okay, so then what happens after that? Do you light it and then purge it? Because that's what it sounded like you were saying.
No,
that's what it sounded like you were saying.
You let it burn off. I remember when I knocked the ash off. The ash off. That was representative of after it's already burnt out, but this cigar is still lit.
Oh,
so
okay.
I would let it burn out. I would lock the ash off. I would purge it. Then
put it away.
I would let it sit in the ashtray till tomorrow when I'm ready to smoke. I'll probably smoke this tomorrow with my coffee in the morning. I'll finish this with my coffee, and then I will light the edge,
and then get it,
and then
back
I'll
so you
purge it a little
couldn't,
bit and I'll start smoking.
You couldn't do it live on the show because it was not burned out yet. Okay,
exactly.
Right.
Gotcha. All right, now rating.
It's still a mild, so I give it like a 4.3.
He's not a big fan of the milds.
I'm not a big fan of miles.
4.3.
Miles are
11111.
Now 4.3. I don't like a flaky ash either, especially for a cigar I'm going to smoke in the morning.
What are you talking about, Mikey? Why'd you just talk about Mikey? Why you call him a flaky ash?
No, I didn't say that. Don't be listening to him, Mikey.
I know where my bread is buttered. You ain't got to go to the Terradome in the morning.
In the mornings, when I drink my coffee and I smoke a mild, I want a nicer ash because usually I have on clothes that I'm going to see a client later. So I don't want ash on my clothes. You know what I mean?
Looking like you got in a fight with a Kingsford
with a powder donut.
Yeah, but when he comes on here, he doesn't give a fuck what his clothes look like. Okay, we get it. All right, moving on.
See, he be it's typical conservative putting words in people's mouths.
That's what they do. You already,
Mikey, do you have a message for our listeners?
Like right now, I'm about to let this just burn out.
I got a message. Hey guys, it's your boy Mikey Famine. I'm just reaching out to you guys because Dutch is on some garbage, trash, pleather couch, and he's living in the slums. His phone is on 1%. He over here doing OnlyFans videos in his free time just to keep the fucking channel afloat. Look, we out here struggling. The struggle bus is real, and it done picked Dutch up. He's hurting, and he needs your help. So if you have tons of money, please go to patreon.com/DigOnAmerica and just run that check. Just give us some monies. And once we hit our $100 goal, a third of that money is going to go to several charities, which can be voted on by the patrons. Also, if you don't have tons of monies, it helps us out if you follow us on Twitch. What's our Twitch, Dutch?
Twitch.tv/DOA podcast.
There you go. And then you could also follow us on Twitter, on Facebook, and that's @DigOnAmerica. And then like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, because all that stuff helps, and it helps us get in front of people who have never. Oh, look at him just mixing the genres. That's disgusting. But yeah, that helps us get in front of new people, and maybe they're rich. So share this stuff as much as possible so that rich people can support the show, and I don't have to ask you guys anymore.
It's me, Matt Delhauer.
I can't deal with it. Look at this.
Well, it's the Spider-Verse now, so you never know. Joker could show up.
What is he doing to us? What? All of our nerd cred is gone. All of our nerd cred. They're gonna kick us back to fucking what's it called? Dragon Ball Z will be the only show they'll let us talk about. Was it the Megazord?
All my kids' toys are right here, so it's great. Anyway.
Yeah, your kids' toys. I know that's your second office. You just got all your favorite action figures just at arm's
No,
reach.
but let me tell you something. These kids got too many goddamn toys.
Yeah. Well, don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do
All
that.
right.
All right. We're out of here.
Support
Y'all.
the show, you sons of guns.
We love y'all. Be safe and take care of yourselves and each other. Just kidding. That's the wrong video.
Really be nice to have a competent producer.